The impossible dream. The fluorescent lights of Laboratory 7 buzzed overhead as Dr. Nathaniel Foster stared at the simulation results on his screen. 3 years of work, thousands of calculations, and countless sleepless nights had led to this moment. The quantum field equations scrolled across his display, beautiful in their complexity, terrifying in their implications. "It works," he whispered, running a hand through his disheveled gray-streaked hair. "It actually works." "What works?" Dr. Olivia Way appeared in the doorway, coffee mug in hand. At 38, she was 15 years his junior but equally brilliant, specializing in theoretical quantum mechanics while Nathaniel focused on applied physics. "The modified Alcubierre framework," Nathaniel said, gesturing to his screen. "I've solved the negative energy requirement. We don't need exotic matter." Olivia nearly dropped her coffee as she rushed to his side. "That's impossible." "That's what I thought too," Nathaniel replied with a tired smile. "But the math doesn't lie." The year was 2157, and humanity had spread throughout the solar system but no further. 50 years ago, Earth had made first contact with the Galactic Consortium, a collection of 12 advanced species that controlled travel between the stars. They had shared some technology, medical advances, improved energy generation, agricultural innovations, but had explicitly refused to share their faster-than-light travel methods. "Your species is not ready," the consortium representatives had said. "Perhaps in another millennium." Olivia scrolled through Nathaniel's calculations, her eyes widening. "You're not using a traditional warp bubble at all." "No," he confirmed. "Instead of warping space-time, we're creating a quantum probability tunnel. The ship doesn't move faster than light. It exists at its destination with higher probability than at its origin." "Quantum teleportation on a macro scale," Olivia breathed. "The consortium will say it's impossible." "Let them," Nathaniel said, saving his work to a secure drive. "We're presenting to the Earth Science Directorate next week." The Earth Science Directorate headquarters in Geneva was an imposing structure of glass and recycled metal, the pride of post-climate crisis architecture. Nathaniel and Olivia stood before the semicircular table where 12 human officials and 3 consortium observers sat in judgment. Director General Harrison Powell, a bureaucrat more concerned with maintaining Earth's diplomatic relationships than scientific advancement, looked distinctly uncomfortable. "Dr. Foster, Dr. Way, you've requested this hearing to present alternative faster-than-light propulsion theory." "Not a theory, Director General," Nathaniel corrected, connecting his data tablet to the room's display system. "A working model, mathematically proven and ready for prototype development." A holographic display materialized above the center of the room, showing a sleek spacecraft with unusual crystalline structures protruding from its hull. "The quantum probability drive," Olivia began, "doesn't follow conventional physics. Instead of trying to bend space as the consortium does, we found a way to manipulate quantum probability fields." One of the alien observers, Zalnar, a tall humanoid with silver-blue skin and unsettling pupil-less eyes, leaned forward. "Fascinating fiction, your mathematics." Nathaniel sent the equations to the main display. The room fell silent as both humans and aliens studied the complex formulations. "This is preposterous," Zalnar finally said, his translator making his voice sound artificial and cold. "You've made elementary mistakes in your quantum field calculations. This approach violates at least 9 fundamental laws of physics." "With respect, Ambassador," Olivia replied, refusing to be intimidated, "our math is sound. We've applied a completely different approach to the problem." "Different and wrong," Zalnar responded dismissively. "Your species continues to demonstrate charming optimism but limited understanding. The consortium has explored faster-than-light travel for 20,000 years. Do you really believe 2 humans in an underfunded laboratory could discover something we missed?" Director General Powell cleared his throat. "Perhaps we should table this discussion." "Let me be clear," Zalnar interrupted. "The consortium treaty explicitly forbids Earth from developing indigenous faster-than-light technology. This research must cease immediately." The human officials looked nervously at each other. No one wanted to challenge the consortium, not when Earth's prosperity now depended so heavily on alien trade and technology. "I move to deny funding for this project and issue a formal cessation order," said Dr. Eliza Chamberlain, the Directorate's most conservative member. Hands began to rise in agreement, but a voice from the back of the room interrupted. "I'd like to hear more." A broad-shouldered man in the dark uniform of the Global Defense Initiative stepped forward. Colonel Marcus Hernandez, head of the GDI's research division, had a reputation for backing unconventional projects. "Colonel, this is a closed session," Powell protested. "I have standing clearance for all propulsion technology discussions," Hernandez replied calmly, approaching the hologram. "Dr. Foster, Dr. Way, your drive doesn't create a warp bubble or wormhole. What are these structures?" "Quantum probability amplifiers," Nathaniel answered. "They create a field that increases the likelihood of the ship existing at its destination rather than its origin point." "And the energy requirements?" "1/10 what conventional theoretical FTL systems would need," Olivia said. Hernandez nodded slowly. "Interesting, and potentially within our current engineering capabilities." Zalnar stood abruptly. "This discussion is over. The consortium will not permit this research to continue." He turned to Powell. "We expect compliance, Director General." After the consortium representatives departed, Powell sighed heavily. "I'm sorry, doctors. The Directorate cannot support this project. The diplomatic risks are too great." As the room emptied, only Nathaniel, Olivia, and Colonel Hernandez remained. "That went as expected," Nathaniel said bitterly. "Did it?" Hernandez asked, a slight smile forming on his face. "Walk with me." The GDI's underground complex beneath the Rocky Mountains was a maze of reinforced tunnels and high-security laboratories. Nathaniel and Olivia had been blindfolded during transport, standard procedure for the most classified facilities. Colonel Hernandez led them into a circular meeting room where 5 people waited around a table. He introduced them one by one. General Diane Reeves, GDI High Command; Admiral Takashi Yamamoto, Space Force; Dr. Javier Rodriguez, Advanced Materials; Professor Zainab Hassan, Quantum Computing; and Jerome Washington, Earth Intelligence Service. Nathaniel looked around in confusion. "What is this?" "Insurance policy," General Reeves said, her weathered face serious. "For humanity's future, please sit." As they took their seats, Admiral Yamamoto spoke. "We've been watching the consortium for decades. They give us trinkets but keep us trapped in our solar system. We believe they're deliberately stunting our development," Washington added. "Keeping us dependent, keeping us earthbound." "Why are you telling us this?" Olivia asked. General Reeves leaned forward. "Because we've been waiting for someone to find a way around their technology monopoly, and it seems you have." "The consortium will never allow it," Nathaniel said. "The consortium doesn't need to know," Professor Hassan replied with a thin smile. Colonel Hernandez activated a holographic display showing a massive underground facility. "We've prepared a site beneath the Antarctic ice shelf. Officially, it's a geothermal research station. Unofficially, it's where you'll build your drive." "You want us to develop it in secret?" Olivia asked, stunned. "Earth's major powers have agreed to pool resources," General Reeves confirmed. "You'll have everything you need, funding, personnel, materials, all off the books." "And when the consortium finds out?" Nathaniel asked. Admiral Yamamoto's expression hardened. "By then, we'll have proven them wrong." Hernandez extended his hand. "Humanity's future depends on reaching the stars on our own terms. Are you in?" Nathaniel and Olivia exchanged a look, then simultaneously reached out to shake the colonel's hand. Project Prometheus had begun. For 3 years, Nathaniel and Olivia worked in the secret Antarctic facility, codenamed Forge. Their team grew to include 200 scientists, engineers, and security personnel, all sworn to absolute secrecy. The prototype drive took shape, a massive crystalline structure that glowed with an eerie blue light when powered. Chief Engineer Vanessa Torres, a former Space Force propulsion specialist, oversaw its construction with meticulous attention to detail. "Beautiful, isn't it?" she said to Nathaniel as they observed the final assembly from the control room. "Nothing like conventional drives." "Let's hope it works," he replied, exhaustion evident in his voice. 3 years of 18-hour days had taken their toll. Dr. Ryota Tanaka, their quantum computing expert, joined them with a tablet in hand. "The simulations are complete. The drive should function at 83% efficiency on the first test." "And the power requirements?" Olivia asked, entering the room with fresh coffee for everyone. "Well within our fusion reactor's capacity," Ryota confirmed. "But there's something else." He showed them a simulation of quantum wave patterns. "The drive creates ripples in the quantum field, like echoes spreading outward." "Is it dangerous?" Vanessa asked. Ryota frowned. "I don't know, but whatever these ripples are, they propagate faster than light, and they don't stop." Their conversation was interrupted as Colonel Hernandez, now General Hernandez, entered with Dr. Fatima Nasser, their theoretical physicist. "We have a problem," Fatima announced grimly. "The consortium has increased surveillance. 3 more of their ships entered Earth orbit yesterday." "Have they detected something?" Nathaniel asked, alarmed. "We don't think so," Hernandez replied. "Not yet, but we can't wait any longer. The test is scheduled for tomorrow." As the others left to make preparations, Olivia remained with Nathaniel in the control room. "Are you ready?" she asked softly. Nathaniel stared at the prototype drive, the culmination of his life's work. "Ready to change history? I hope so." Outside the facility, Antarctic winds howled across the ice. Tomorrow, they would challenge the universe's established order. Tomorrow, they would attempt the impossible. And somewhere far above, watching from orbit, the consortium's surveillance ships continued their silent vigil, unaware of what waited beneath the ice. Defiance among the stars. The secret Antarctic facility hummed with tension as the final preparations for the quantum probability drive test were underway. 5 years had passed since Dr. Nathaniel Foster and Dr. Olivia Way had first presented their revolutionary theory to the Earth Science Directorate. Now, deep beneath 2 kilometers of ice, humanity's greatest technological gamble was about to be tested. "Quantum field stabilizers at 98%, Vanessa Torres reported from her station, fingers dancing across holographic controls. The chief engineer had barely slept in 3 days, personally checking every connection in the prototype drive. Nathaniel nodded, his once salt-on-pepper hair now completely gray. "Probability matrices. Aligned and functioning within parameters," Dr. Ryota Tanaka confirmed, eyes fixed on the quantum computations streaming across his display. "The AI is maintaining field harmonics automatically." General Marcus Hernandez stood at the back of the control room, joined by representatives from Earth's unified government. What had begun as a rogue operation had gradually gained official, though still secret, recognition as the project's potential became clear. "Time to primary ignition," Hernandez asked. 20 minutes, Olivia answered, performing final calculations. The years had etched fine lines around her eyes, but her determination remained undiminished. "We'll begin with a minimal field generation, just enough to verify the mathematical model." Dr. Fatima Nasser approached with a worried expression. "I've been analyzing those quantum ripples we detected in earlier tests. They're not just random disturbances. They have structure, almost like a signal." "A signal to what?" Olivia asked. Fatima shook her head. "I don't know, but they propagate outward through spacetime faster than light, if the consortium can detect them." "It's too late to worry about that now," Hernandez interrupted. "The surveillance situation is deteriorating. 2 more consortium ships arrived in orbit yesterday. They've requested inspection rights for all Earth research facilities under the Technology Sharing Treaty." "How long do we have?" Nathaniel asked. "Their inspection teams arrive in 48 hours. We need to complete the test and make decisions before then." The prototype vessel containing the drive sat in the center of a massive reinforced chamber. Unlike traditional spacecraft, the Defiance was spherical, surrounded by crystalline structures that resembled delicate frost patterns. It wasn't designed for atmospheric flight, only to prove the quantum probability concept. "All personnel clear the test chamber," Vanessa announced. Security teams verified the evacuation while sensors and cameras positioned throughout the space came online. Olivia joined Nathaniel at the primary control station. "Remember when we first met at Cambridge, you said you wanted to touch the stars." He smiled, briefly squeezing her hand. "I never imagined we'd be trying to teleport to them." "Quantum probability tunneling," she corrected with a small smile. "Not teleportation." "T-5 minutes, Ryota announced. Throughout the facility, unnecessary systems powered down, redirecting energy to the drive test. On the main display, the Defiance's crystalline structures began to glow with a soft blue light. Quantum field readings spiked as the probability matrices initialized. "T-1 minute, Nathaniel said, voice steady despite his racing heart. General Hernandez stepped forward. "Whatever happens today changes everything, for better or worse." "T-10 seconds, 9, 8. The room fell silent, the only sound the soft hum of computers and the quickened breathing of the assembled team. 3, 2, 1, initiate." Nathaniel pressed the activation command. For a brief moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, the crystalline structures flashed blinding white. The air within the chamber appeared to ripple like heat waves rising from hot pavement. "Quantum field compression at 20%, Olivia reported, eyes fixed on her readings. 30%, 45%. Alarms suddenly blared as unexpected readings flooded the monitors. "Field instability in the outer matrix," Ryota shouted. "The probability wave is fluctuating." "Shut it down," Hernandez ordered. Nathaniel's fingers flew across the controls. "Power reduction initiated. Field should collapse in 3, 2. Before he could finish, a brilliant flash erupted from the Defiance. The entire facility shuddered as if struck by an earthquake. Emergency systems activated automatically, blast doors sealing off sections as damage control protocols engaged. When the dust settled and the backup lighting came online, the team stared in shock at the main display. The Defiance was gone. Where it had been, only a faint, swirling distortion remained in the air, slowly fading away. "What happened?" Hernandez demanded. Ryota worked frantically at his station. "The field, it didn't just compress space as we expected. It created a complete probability shift. The Defiance didn't just disappear, it exists somewhere else now." "Where?" Nathaniel asked, voice barely audible. Olivia examined the sensor readings, her expression shifting from concern to amazement. "If these coordinates are correct, approximately 4.2 light-years away." "Proxima Centauri," Fatima whispered. The silence that followed was broken by a priority alert from the surface communications team. "General, we have multiple incoming transmissions from orbital monitoring stations. The consortium vessels are breaking formation and converging on Antarctic airspace." "They detected it," Hernandez said grimly. "The test created a quantum signature they couldn't miss." "How long until they reach us?" Nathaniel asked. "At their current velocity, less than 3 hours." Vanessa looked up from her engineering station. "The prototype worked, but the field collapsed too quickly. We need to stabilize the quantum matrices before attempting another test." "We don't have time for another test," Hernandez replied. "We need to move to Phase 2 immediately." Olivia frowned. "Phase 2, what are you talking about?" The general activated his secure tablet, displaying images of a massive spacecraft under construction. Unlike the small prototype, this vessel was nearly 200 meters long, with a sleek design reminiscent of ancient sailing ships. "For the past 3 years, we've been secretly building components in facilities around the world," Hernandez explained. "Disguised as satellite parts or space station modules, they've been assembled in a stealth orbital dock behind Luna's dark side." Nathaniel stared at the vessel in disbelief. You built a ship without telling us. We were hedging our bets, Hernandez replied unapologetically. If your drive worked, we needed to be ready to act before the consortium could stop us. That ship, the Defiance Prime, has a full-scale version of your drive already installed based on your earlier designs. It won't work, Olivia protested. We need to incorporate what we learned from this test. The probability matrices require recalibration. Then you'll recalibrate them en route, Hernandez said. The ship launches in 6 hours. We've already selected a crew, volunteers who understand this might be a one-way mission. And what exactly is their mission? Nathaniel demanded. To prove we can reach the stars independently, to establish humanity's first extrasolar presence, and to send back data that will help us build more ships. Fatima interrupted with urgent news. The quantum ripples from our test are changing. They're resonating with something. What do you mean? Olivia asked. The ripples we sent out, they've encountered something in deep space that's responding to them. Something is sending ripples back. A chill ran through the room as the implication sank in. Something out there noticed us, Ryota said quietly, and it's responding. 4 hours later, Nathaniel and Olivia found themselves aboard a hypersonic transport heading for the Luna Dark Side facility. With them were critical data cores and the specialized equipment needed to recalibrate the Defiance Prime's drive. Do you think it will work? Olivia asked as they watched Earth recede below them. The math is sound, Nathaniel replied. But that resonance Fatima detected worries me. What if we're opening a door to something we don't understand? Too late to worry about that now, said Commander Zoe Jackson, the transport's pilot and future captain of the Defiance Prime. A veteran of the Mars colonies with experience in experimental spacecraft, she had volunteered immediately for the mission. The consortium ships have landed at the Antarctic facility, she informed them. General Hernandez is stalling them with bureaucratic procedures, but they'll discover what we've been doing within hours. The transport docked at the hidden facility behind Luna. As they disembarked, Nathaniel and Olivia got their first real view of the Defiance Prime through the station's massive observation windows. The ship was beautiful, sleek lines of polished metal with the crystalline structures of the quantum drive integrated into its design rather than attached as on the prototype. It looked simultaneously ancient and futuristic, like a sailing vessel designed by gods. She'll be ready to launch in 90 minutes, said Chief Engineer Julian Reeves, greeting them at the airlock. We need your expertise to finalize the drive calibrations. For the next hour, they worked feverishly, incorporating the data from the prototype test into the ship's systems. The 12 crew members, pilots, engineers, scientists, and medical personnel prepared for departure with quiet efficiency, each aware of the historic nature of their mission and its dangers. Consortium vessels detected leaving Earth orbit, announced the facility's security officer. Trajectory suggests they're heading for Luna. Commander Jackson gathered her crew for final instructions. Our mission is straightforward. Activate the drive, reach Proxima Centauri, gather data, and attempt to return. If return proves impossible, we'll establish a base and continue research. She turned to Nathaniel and Olivia. Doctors, are the calibrations complete? As complete as they can be, Nathaniel answered. We've incorporated the stability protocols from the prototype test. The drive should function at approximately 70% efficiency on first activation. That's enough to reach Proxima, Olivia added. But we've also detected something unusual, quantum resonance from deep space. Something responded to our test. Jackson nodded grimly. All the more reason to launch now, better to meet whatever's out there on our terms. Alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. Consortium vessels accelerating toward Luna, estimated arrival in 15 minutes. We're out of time, Jackson decided. All crew, final boarding. Doctors Foster and Way, you need to decide, stay or come with us. Nathaniel and Olivia exchanged a long look. Years of partnership and shared dreams communicated in a single glance. We've come this far, Nathaniel said. Olivia nodded. We should see it through. Within minutes, the Defiance Prime detached from its construction dock, conventional thrusters pushing it away from Luna. To the approaching consortium vessels, it would appear as just another human ship performing standard maneuvers. Drive status, Jackson asked from the command chair. Quantum matrices aligned, Olivia reported from the science station. Probability field stable, ready for activation on your command. Consortium vessels hailing us, the communications officer announced. They're ordering us to power down and prepare for boarding. Jackson smiled thinly. Send them our regrets, she turned to Nathaniel. Dr. Foster, humanity has waited long enough. Take us to the stars. Nathaniel took a deep breath, then initiated the activation sequence. The crystalline structures integrated throughout the ship began to glow, first blue, then purple, then blinding white. Quantum field compression at 50%, Olivia announced. 60, 70. The ship shuddered as space itself seemed to bend around them. Through the viewports, the stars began to stretch into long streaks of light. Field stability holding, Nathaniel reported, his voice tight with concentration. Compression at maximum sustainable level. Proximity alert, the tactical officer shouted. Consortium vessel attempting intercept. Too late, Jackson said calmly. Dr. Foster, complete the probability shift. Nathaniel pressed the final command. For a breathless moment, reality itself seemed to flex around them. There was a sensation like being stretched impossibly thin, then snapped back together. The streaking stars vanished, replaced by an unfamiliar stellar configuration. Position, Jackson demanded. The navigation officer checked his instruments, then looked up in amazement. If the stellar cartography is correct, we're in the Proxima Centauri system. A cheer erupted on the bridge as the reality of their achievement sank in. Humanity had reached the stars. But at the science station, Olivia stared at her readings with growing concern. Captain, I'm detecting those quantum resonance patterns again, much stronger now. Source, Jackson asked. Difficult to pinpoint, it seems to be coming from everywhere. Nathaniel joined her, examining the data. It's like the fabric of space-time itself is responding to our presence. Or something that exists within it, Olivia suggested. On the main view screen, the red dwarf star of Proxima Centauri shone like a beacon. Around it, they could make out several planets, potential new homes for humanity. Whatever is out there, Jackson said, we've just changed humanity's future forever. The consortium can no longer keep us imprisoned in our own solar system. As the Defiance Prime moved deeper into the Proxima Centauri system, the quantum resonance patterns continued to strengthen. Something ancient and vast had noticed humanity's quantum leap among the stars. And it was responding. Back on Earth, as consortium officials confronted General Hernandez about the unauthorized technology development, a priority message arrived from their homeworlds. Something unprecedented had been detected, quantum disturbances spreading throughout nearby space. Hernandez allowed himself a small smile as the consortium representatives fell into urgent discussion. The balance of power had shifted. Humanity was no longer merely a developing species to be patronized and controlled. They had defied the impossible, they had reached the stars. And whatever waited for them there, they would face it on their own terms.